Okay, so what I'm doing today, I've got the shack kind of in disarray and stuff's kind of all over the place. I was still trying to get rid of stuff and do things like that, and then amidst all this with the solar thing, I've been trying to tax the crap out of it. So we've got another portable air conditioner running in one of the bedrooms in the house, and it's a really, really inefficient one. It's a Pinguino. I don't remember what it's rated at. It's not this 18 by 20 garage. It couldn't cool, so I don't know what it would work with a 10 by 20 bedroom or some weird thing. It would have to be smaller than 18 by 20. But it's a portable air conditioner with a single outlet hose, whatever. So I'm not exactly sure the shortcomings of those, but I've heard that you need one with two hoses, with an intake and an outtake, because it will cause the pressure in the room to change, or something like that. Anyway, that's running in one of the other bedrooms with the door shut, because we have two rooms that we can close off from the rest of the house. But what happens is those rooms build up with an extreme amount of heat, and then you're 87 degrees at night, and you can't get the house's temperature to drop, even though the temperature outside is 80, with box fans in the windows. So you need to really cool the entire house to a normal degree. I set the thing, I think, to 83 degrees. So it's on right now. It's on L2. That's it all by itself. It's pulling that much. The 1319 is two different air conditioners, a 5,000 BTU and a 6,000. So those two air conditioners together probably are more efficient and probably better than that single one, but it's just what I have to hook up. So what we're trying to do is stress this thing as much as I can put into it. Right now you can see that I'm not keeping up with the draw. So our draw is 2603. We're pulling 112 watts out of the battery, which is not a lot, but the solar isn't going to provide enough. Now, solar is kind of weird where if you don't put a heavy load on it, it just doesn't produce anything. You want to find out how much your solar makes. You have to overload the system. If you've ever watched any of Will Pro's, or whatever his last name is, videos, he uses hair dryers and heat guns because they put a huge load on it. And that's what you can do. You just load it hardcore. You have to load it past what it can provide to see its maximum potential. So right now, we know that we're seeing the maximum that these panels are able to produce underneath the conditions that we have right now. We have clouds, so that's what's going on. And so right now, cloudy conditions, it's 1,700 out of one and under 1,000 out of the other. But as soon as the weather changes, you can see the clouds probably through the window. As soon as the weather changes, this will jump up. You'll hear it ramp up. You'll hear the fans ramp up. And then, it'll change. But what I'm trying to do is tax this thing as hard as I can with what I have, while being useful at the same time, to make sure we don't have a problem. I bought this thing last year in August. I honestly think that I'm probably past my 1 year thing, which means that if there is a problem and something doesn't work, I want to know right now, because I probably could still get Santan Solar to offer a warranty. So what I've had to do to make sure that I've kind of got a baseline is I've had to unplug the grid to it and see what it's going to do, because I can't sit here and babysit it the entire day. But we've got consumption and solar. In most part, the solar is above the consumption, but right now we can see it's well below it. So now that we can kind of see the pattern, we probably could hook up the grid, and we probably could see our battery has never dipped below 52 something from what I can tell. I probably wonder if I can tell from looking at this. It just tells me the discharging amount. There's more data you can get on this thing here, so you can see VPV1 charge power. I don't know what VBus is. So you have all these things you can select. So what I want to know is my battery, not this. Another thing I realized I needed to look through was the event history. This is going to be from 8.9 to 6.19 that we're looking at. Okay, so this has probably happened a bunch of times. Battery voltage low, no AC connection, battery open. So when the battery opens, that's a W27. This thing will continue to work, but there's no battery. So that's kind of the problem. And then low, low. So this is in June. Battery open. So we got 629 battery open. We got 7.1 battery open. We got 8.08 battery open, and the reason why is because last night it cut off. So for all of July, the battery never opened, except for on the first day because I think we added grid. So we got 7.1, 629, and 620. So each time the battery opens, you have to wait for it to kind of adjust itself, and that means the BMS will automatically reset itself after a certain amount of time, assuming that the voltage has come back up. If it doesn't come back up on the battery, you have to wake up the BMS by charging the battery. And then that's when I ended up with a gigantic arc yesterday. Go to the next page. We're on 527, battery low. 530, battery open. 601, battery open. 601, battery open. And then there was nothing for a while. Just battery voltage low. I don't know, does it tell me what the low voltage is? It's whatever the warning would have been. So that's just the event history. You can kind of see all that. So the battery, so what's been happening is the battery's been hitting that low voltage, and it's also means that the voltage I had set for the inverter to disconnect is not high enough. Because it's allowing the battery to shut down and open up. So you can come in here and you look at, this is energy from the grid. 20 kilowatts plus, except for like one day here, 13.9. 23.0. Today we got 6.5. That's a lot of power. Hovering around the 20 kilowatt hour range. Energy 2 grid, 0. Backup power, I don't know what that would be. That's weird. E backup power. Looks like something, I don't know. And then we have discharge. E discharge. And we're like
4 kilowatt. Charge up to 6 almost. And I don't know what REC is. Inverter, inverter, PV2 kilowatt hours. So yeah, we got, this is what the solar has made. That's it. Nothing on any of these days and very little on these. 0.5, 0.2. What this means is it was, the battery actually like was able to switch off the grid those days. So we got a lot of problems here, that's for sure. And this will let you look at the different things on the PV side and the AC side. We don't have a generator, so we can't look at that. Battery over here, battery, and then backup, and then something else. Okay, so that's the battery voltage. We can see what it is. It dips down to like what, 51. So I think 51. It goes up to 54. And this is really hard to do. They have this thing, it like really kind of, it like gets in your way in certain spots. You're like, just want to see 54, 54.3. So some of this is helpful and some of it really just doesn't tell me much. Anyway, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and start shutting things down here. I got all this stuff running on power strip. I really don't want my computer to shut off every time I hit the limit of my battery and the inverter shuts off. But at the same time, the only things that I can be proactive about that are drawing power out here is the air conditioner and all the computer junk and all the radio junk. And without having this inverter tied to the grid and then tied to everything out here, there's no way for me to permanently back up. And I feel like there's something wrong with this inverter to where no matter what you set it to, it doesn't return back to the solar. And I've also had it in the morning where the inverter would not wake itself up, even though there was plenty of sun and plenty of power coming in on the solar. Again, it could be just some settings, but I'm having trouble with this thing and I've had it for a year. So right now, we're not drawing anything in that other bedroom, just 38 watts with the AC has hit the thermostat, so it's good. We're putting 1,000 something into the battery, and we're making whatever that combined number is, 2,500, something like that. And we're drawing 1,369. So we're good to go on that. And as long as you can stay back and forth between that cycle, you know, you'll run until the sun goes down. Anyway, let's get some of this stuff tested. Alright, I got that moved over here. You know, I'm thinking I might just go back to like really simple stuff. You know, one monitor. This stuff is all done for the YouTube stuff, so like can capture multiple screens at once on OBS Studio so that I can do weird tricky stuff. All I need is virtual screens. I just don't know how to do it, but okay, so let's say I've got 4 virtual screens and it'll divvy up on here, and like I have like one here for my work screen, the one here for something else that I'm watching, and then the other 2 for like whatever. That's all I need. You know, I don't need like a TV this big to use my computer. And that's a Dell monitor right there, perfectly fine. Here's another TV. There's another TV. These couple here are fairly old, so that means that I want to put them on the kilowatt and see what they're drawing. Alright, one thing we need to do while we're here
Put the cover back on this thing. But basically, most of my videos, I'm just taking you guys on an adventure of what I do. And right now I'm going to check. Let's see if we have any propagation. Meanwhile, I'm going to put screws back in this radio. I'm going to try and find the nicest looking ones for the top. This screwdriver, somebody banged the end of it with a hammer. I wonder who did that. So, we're just going to get the nicest ones back in it. We get this off the bench, and then we can start testing other stuff. So, by the way, I did get some other screws because they're magnetic. Alright, it's been on for a minute, and all the screws are back in it. It hasn't shut off, so we'll put it on the shelf. Alright, I'm going to leave all this plugged in. I'm going to go to the end of that cord. I'm going to insert the kilowatt and see what we're pulling. Okay, so what I did was I got this UPS over here, and it's actually pretty much in line with everything. And let's see what we got. Let's see, we have 117, 122. And only half of this inverter, or whatever you want to call it, is backed up. But over here, you see, so we have, I don't know, 8 plugs, and half of them are backed up, half of them aren't. What we're doing now, I had to lift the TV here just to get in here. It's really hard to see. So right now we're on voltage. We got some sag because it's hot out. Everybody in the neighborhood's using AC. So right now, with everything running off of this damn thing right now, everything, we're pulling 180 watts. That's my computer, my TVs, the internet, and I don't know what else. Well, actually, I'm sorry, my computer is not on that one. We will have to add more to this. And that's 2.23 amps. So right now, that's where we're at.